You're not aroused, you're numb. But no one ever says it out loud. They think you're just a man with needs. They think it's just normal urges. But deep down, you know something's off. This isn't about pleasure anymore. It's about escape. It's about that quiet urge to disappear for a few minutes, to silence the noise, to forget yourself, to feel something, even if it's fake. You don't crave touch. You crave anesthesia, that temporary blackout, that synthetic silence after the storm. But here's the truth, no one dares to speak. You never actually feel satisfied. Even after you finish, you're still empty, still hollow, still distant from the man you used to be. And maybe you've gotten good at hiding it. From others, from the world, even from yourself. But something inside is breaking. Something inside is screaming. Because you were never meant to live on autopilot, clicking your way into numbness while calling it pleasure. You know this isn't who you are. You can feel it. Quietly, beneath all the noise. So ask yourself, when did pleasure become a prison? Because this is not desire. It's a slow death, and the cycle will keep repeating until you choose to break it. No one sees it, no one knows. To them, you're just fine. Smiling, working, living, but behind the locked door, in the glow of the screen, you become someone else. Not evil, not broken, just. It starts with that familiar urge. It's that quiet whisper, just a little. And before you even think, your fingers move on their own. Your mind shuts down, and the ritual begins. But it never ends with pleasure. Because the climax doesn't set you free, it chains you deeper. Seconds after, that familiar weight returns. The heaviness in your chest, the voice in your head that says, "You did it again. You said you wouldn't. What the hell is wrong with you?" Shame floods your system like venom. You wipe the screen, but you can't wipe the guilt. You close the tab, but you can't close the distance between who you are and who you pretend to be. And the worst part, you keep it all inside. Because who would understand? To them, it's just porn, just release, just being a man. But to you, it's a silent war, a private hell. And every time you lose a piece of yourself. So here's the question that haunts you when the screen goes dark. If I can't stop this, what else am I lying about? You think you're in control, that you're choosing, that it's just a moment of relief, and that you can stop whenever you want. But that's the illusion, because what's happening isn't choice. It's conditioning. Every click is a command. Every climax, a reward. And your brain, it's learning. Just like a dog trained to salivate at the sound of a bell. Dopamine, dopamine, again, and again, and again. Your nervous system doesn't care about your goals, your dreams, your spiritual path. It only wants the next hit, the next escape, the next moment of silence between the noise. And over time, you become less human and more automated. You're no longer responding to life. You're reacting to programming. You open the browser before you even realize. You reach for the phone without thinking. Your body moves. But your soul isn't present. It's not about desire anymore. It's about compulsion. Impulse, loop. They've hijacked your biology, redesigned your reward system. And now, your deepest wiring belongs to a cycle you never consciously agreed to. You became a slave to the very thing you once believed you controlled. So ask yourself, who's really making the decisions now? Because if you keep rewarding your brain for staying numb, why would it ever wake up? You feel the touch, but not the connection. Your hands move. Your body responds. But inside, there's a void, a silent absence, like a ghost moving through its own skin. You see bodies everywhere. Flesh on flesh, desire in motion. But you're blind to yourself. It's not intimacy. It's not presence. It's a hollow performance. You're masturbating to your own absence. The very part of you that craves connection is missing, lost in a fog of pixels and illusions. This isn't living. It's a slow erasure of your essence. You might fool others. You might fool the world, but you can't fool the man staring back in the mirror. Because a body without a soul is just an empty vessel. You tell yourself it's the last time. A simple phrase, but heavy with desperation. I'll stop after this one. I'll quit on Monday. This is the final click. Promises made in the quiet moments, when the screen is still warm and your mind still hopes for freedom. But the truth, promises like these are fragile. Delicate lies we tell ourselves to postpone the pain of facing the real battle. Because deep down, you know, the next video will play, the next moment of numbness will come, and the cycle will repeat. You convince yourself you're in control. You build castles of willpower on shaky foundations. I'm different. I can do this. But when the craving hits again, when loneliness whispers louder than resolve, those promises crumble like dust. Self-deception becomes a safety net, a way to survive the guilt, a way to silence the inner voice that screams, "Why can't you stop?" And with every broken promise, the distance between who you are and who you want to be grows wider. You're trapped in a loop of hope and failure, of resolve and relapse, of light and shadow. But here's the cruelest truth of all. The hardest person to lie to is yourself. Because beneath every promise broken, there's a man screaming to be free, waiting for the courage to break the silence. You're not just wasting time, you're losing something far more precious. Life itself, slipping quietly through your fingers like grains of sand no one notices until they're gone. Projects left unfinished, dreams abandoned on dusty shelves. Connections faded to shallow shadows. The spark in your eyes, dimming. You're becoming a stranger to yourself. A ghost haunting your own existence. And the worst part? You don't even realize it's happening. Each moment spent behind the screen is a moment stolen from your true journey. Your growth, your relationships, your soul's calling. You tell yourself it's just a habit, just a way to cope. But it's not harmless. This hidden cost eats away at your spirit, quietly, invisibly, while the world demands more from you. More presence, more passion, more life. But you're running on empty. Going through the motions, present in body, absent in essence. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're drowning. In a sea of distraction, and the deeper you sink, the harder it is to find the shore. So ask yourself, what price are you really paying? What parts of you are slipping away while you chase a fleeting high? Because this isn't just a battle for pleasure. It's a battle for your life. You're not weak, you're wounded. More than that, you're lost. Searching for something that no video, no image, no moment of numbness can ever give you. What you're chasing is not pleasure. It's meaning, purpose, connection. There's an emptiness inside you, a void that's been growing quietly, eating away at your spirit. And porn, it's just the valve, the symptom. The mask covering a deeper pain. Because you didn't become addicted to pixels by accident. You became addicted because somewhere, deep down, you felt unseen. Unheard, unloved, disconnected from yourself and the world. That emptiness isn't your fault. It's a wound from a world that teaches you to numb rather than to feel. You try to fill it with distractions, with quick fixes, with temporary highs. But the void remains. It's asking for something real, something raw, something you've forgotten how to give yourself. Healing doesn't come from avoidance. It comes from facing the darkness. It's from sitting with the pain. From reconnecting with the parts of you that have been buried. You're not broken. You're incomplete. And the journey to wholeness starts with looking inside, not away. Pleasure has become your prison. A cage built from clicks and fleeting highs. Walls made of numbness. bars forged from denial. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. You still have a choice. You don't have to keep dying inside while pretending to live outside. You don't have to keep running, hiding, running, trapped in a loop that steals your light. This is your breaking point. The moment when the mask slips, when the lie unravels, when the silence shatters. You can keep going, walking the path of least resistance, sinking deeper into the void. Or you can stop, look in the mirror, and face what you've been afraid to see. It won't be easy. Truth never is. But freedom waits on the other side. A freedom born from courage, from honesty, from the willingness to feel the pain. And let it teach you. You don't have to be a prisoner anymore. You don't have to hide in shadows. You can choose to rise, to fight, to reclaim yourself. Because the greatest act of rebellion is to simply say, enough. It's time to return. To the body, to the breath, to the feeling that's been buried beneath years of distraction. Relearning to feel means stepping away from the glow of the screen, turning off the noise, turning inward. To touch, not just with your hands, but with your whole being. To presence, not just in moments of pleasure, but in every breath, every heartbeat, every silence. Redefine what pleasure means, not as a quick fix, not as a fleeting high, but as a sacred connection to yourself, to another, to life. Remember what it means to be alive, to feel joy, pain, longing, love, to be fully present in the rawness of existence, without escape, without numbness. This is the path back to your soul. Slow, sometimes painful, always worth it. You don't have to be afraid of your feelings anymore. You can learn to sit with them, to honor them, to let them guide you home. Because beyond the screen lies the world you were meant to live in, full of texture, full of depth, full of truth. So tell me, will you keep trading your soul for pixels? Will you stay trapped, lost in a loop of empty clicks that steal more than just your time? Or will you find the courage to face the void inside? To sit with the discomfort, to feel the pain, and fill it with something real. Because every click has a cost, and you've already paid too much. Not just in moments lost, but in parts of yourself fading away. The question isn't if you're addicted. The question is, how much longer will you let this define you? Will you keep hiding behind the screen? Or will you wake up? This is your choice. Your moment, your life. The cycle ends when you decide it ends. So what will it be? Will you keep running? Or will you stand still and finally come home?